I'll introduce who Chun is. So Chun has kindly, took time off on his Friday evening to join us on this virtual Open City to share with us a breathing method that's very, very, very dear to him. Chun is the only Wim Hof practitioner here in Singapore, and he has been giving classes for over about 2 years now. Was it
1.5?
1.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So apart from Chun will share more about the Wim Hof method, but I just wanted to share that, apart from him bringing the Wim Hof experience of cold exposure to the warm equator, I've actually known Chun for I think three or 4 years already, and I've always known him as an adrenaline, sports, mobility, stretch method practitioner junkie. He's anything that you can think of that's about extreme sports. So he's been a very big inspiration in my room more, but I just haven't got my lazy ass off the chair yet. But in any case, he has spent a good part of the last 15 years pushing his body through various activities like wakeboarding, triathlons, military training, and his chase for adrenaline exceeded his body's ability to recover in time, and he found himself falling apart. So there was once, I think, I asked him out if he wanted to have a New Year's brunch, and he came with like a cast on his hand or something. And I was like, dude, what happened to you? But anyway, his limbs would start swelling painfully and prevent movement for a few days, which is, terrible for him because he needs to be constantly on the go, right? But he discovered a method, and this painful response subsided tremendously. And through this constant practice of breathing, cold, and mindset conditioning, I'm really excited that he's going to share this today. So take it away.
All right, thanks, Jen. You've pretty much summed up a big part of my introduction. So I will be glancing to the chat panel once in a while to take note of the questions as well. But at the same time, a quick introduction to the method and to where I come from. And hopefully you guys can learn a little bit more about yourselves, about the method, and how everything might be related to this whole current situation that we're in, where a lot of our own healthcare and wellness is put into question. So before I do that, I'd like to just try something with everyone, which is to do a controlled pause breath hold test. So what I'm going to do is I'll just start a timer going. So you just breathe naturally, and then when I say 3, 2, 1, start, you exhale your breath. And then in that exhale breath hold, just stay calm and wait as your discomfort builds up. When you need to breathe again, just take an inhale and note how many seconds the clock has counted until, and just type it down in the comments. I'll explain a little bit more about why we're doing this. So this should be something fun to do. Okay, so let's take about 10 seconds. Just get comfortable. Just breathe normally. And that's the play. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Exhale and hold your breath. All right, stop breathing and observe your body building up carbon dioxide. That acidity in your lungs will slowly build towards certain levels of discomfort. When you can't hold your breath anymore, just carry on breathing normally and type in the comments box how many seconds you held your breath for. Don't hold it for too long. If you feel the urge to breathe, just start breathing. And there's no good or bad, right or wrong. All right, numbers are coming in. Very nice. Awesome. I'll let it run for a few more seconds. And at the same time, I'll start explaining the whole purpose of doing that. All right. So what we just did was a breath hold test. The test gives a very immediate notification of how much oxygen our body has. All right, we've been breathing normally, and there's a certain percentage of oxygenation within our cells. When we do a breath hold, we are not allowing the carbon dioxide to escape as an exhale. So this carbon dioxide keeps being built up because our heart has to keep beating. And every beat, it's pumping more and more waste into our lungs, waiting to be exhaled. The controlled pause test that you just did is a very good indication, very useful, simple indication of our current state of well-being, how oxygenated our cells are. If it's very well oxygenated, we can hold it for a long time. If you haven't been sleeping well, nutrition's not good, there's a lot of stress, you're constantly worried, and your body's constantly in this fight or flight mode and never having this real time to rest, one of the side effects is that we breathe a lot more, we breathe out more, and there's constantly very little carbon dioxide in our body. So for some reason, this has a very direct association with how much oxygen is being let out into our cells. So to keep it simple, the lower your timing for holding your breath, that means the more you need to work on your health in general, or maybe just your body's carbon dioxide tolerance levels. So if you look into breath work and yoga, a lot of these exercises work on increasing your tolerance for carbon dioxide and therefore subsequent increase of oxygenation within our cells. The Wim Hof method that I have, that I'm going to share with you, is a very simple way of increasing this number. So you guys did a very nice demonstration of a benchmark test. After some explanation from this session, I'm going to do 1 or 2 rounds of breath work. And we're going to do the test again. And let's see how long more we can hold our breath. Just within 3 to 5 minutes of breathing, we can immediately affect how much oxygen there is in our cells. So yeah, this will be a fun journey. And like Wim Hof says, we can do more than we think we can. So what is this method? The logo is actually quite simple. It's got 3 pillars that form the whole method. The first is a set of lungs, which signifies breath work. The next is your brain. So this is mindset. And the third pillar is a snowflake, and that signifies cold exposure. So using breathwork, mindset, and cold exposure in practice together, Wim Hof Method hopes that these 3 things can bring to you happiness, strength, and health. And this is pretty much what we need to lead a really good life. A little bit about Wim Hof now. He is a Dutch guy from the Netherlands, very strange, eccentric fella, usually found in very little clothing in very cold places. So Wim Hof started his journey back in the 70s. Around Amsterdam, when the winters can get really cold, sometimes the river freezes over, you might even be able to ice skate on them. In the 70s, his wife, who was suffering from depression, unfortunately committed suicide. So Wim was left in a place where he had to bring up 4 kids and he had no one else. So you can imagine the kind of mental stress he was in. So one day on the way back home, he passed by the water, the frozen waters, and something in him said, jump in the cold. So he had no idea what it was. He just decided to follow his instincts and hop in the water. And he reacted just like any one of us would react. A lot of gasping for air, a lot of cold, fighting the cold. But after a little while, something magical happened. He found this calm wash over him and this sense of peace that he haven't felt in a long time. And when he came out of the cold water, he felt a lot of joy and relaxation. So back then, there wasn't all this science and research available. He just did a very practical method, something very difficult that most people would never want to do. But from doing it, he came out and he felt a lot of its benefits. So he became the neighborhood weirdo, just jumping in the cold all the time without wearing clothes. And he built up a lot of resilience against the cold, as well as starting to understand the benefits and the good feelings that he was starting to receive. A lot of it didn't come to actual action until one day he was passing by the river again and he saw a group of people surrounding the water. And so turns out a little boy had fell through the ice, but nobody was capable of rescuing him because they were worried of hypothermia or drowning themselves. And Wim, with all his practice, he didn't even blink. He just went in straight away and managed to save the boy's life. And this was one of his first experiences in knowing that the things that he has done is actually beneficial for other people. So he needed to get the word out to let people know that, hey, this is something that could be useful for you as well, and everybody can benefit as a group. So what better way to get the word out than to set a Guinness World Record? And that's exactly what he did. He got himself buried in ice cubes all the way up to his neck. And then when he was buried to his neck and the timer went on, he managed to achieve this Guinness World Record of about 1 hour, 57 minutes. So with that going on, Wim Hof managed to get himself on the global audience to let people know, hey, this guy exists and there's something that he can do with the code. This is amazing. And up to today, he holds 26 Guinness World Record, all of them related to cold exposure. Naturally, scientists were baffled by what he could do. So they put a lot of tests, and if you go to the exhibition booth, there's a little video on one of the tests that he went through, and this is with regards to influencing the immune system. So what they did was to place some bacteria in him and expect his body to work out a storm and fight the bacteria, and he would feel sick and weak and feverish, just like any other virus that attacks. And Wim proved that with his method, he can suppress his immune response and show up like nothing happened. Although the virus was in him and his body was fighting, with his method, he managed to suppress all of that and not show the symptoms of falling ill. So this was something quite incredible. And scientists have proven in Radboud University, in many of the free online materials you can find on the method, that he's managed to get medical proof that whatever he was talking about is actually being measured and being proven with a lot of scientists and medical doctors' assistance. The next thing that happened was they said, look, Wim, I think you're just special. Nobody else in the world can do this but you, because maybe your genes are different. Something in you is different. So Wim said, nope, I'm going to prove to you that anybody can do this. Bring me some people, I'll train them up. And that's what they did. They brought a bunch of people, and Wim took half of them to train in the mountains, put them in the waterfalls, and brought them up a snowy mountain without clothes, just a pair of shorts. And when they came back, everybody, half the group with no training and half the group with training, all went through the virus injection. And those with training showed the same results as Wim. They managed to suppress whatever bad side effects were coming from the body fighting this bacteria. So from there, where we are today is we have the Wim Hof Method being set up, headquartered in Netherlands, but we have hundreds of instructors all around the world, each of us trying our best to share the word, because breathing air is free, cold water is easily accessible. Unfortunately, now we're around the equator, so for this area, we have ice cubes and chest freezers for participating in cold exposure, which is what I've got set up in my house. And from here, we hope to get the word out that you can do pretty incredible things with your body if you know the right methods to achieve it. A little bit about me now. So I've, like Jen has said, I've spent a big part of my youth torturing my body, trying to push it to limits, trying to extract as much action and adrenaline as I can. And as a result of that, my body started failing, and I couldn't find a good way to put it back in its pieces. So when I found the Wim Hof Method, it pretty much answered all my questions. And before I got certified as an instructor, I fell on my electric skateboard and broke my collarbone. If you can see, the scar is still over here. So I got about 2 months before my instructor course, I fell really badly, broke my collarbone, broke my rib cage, and scraped the entire side of my body when I slid on the gravel. So I had 2 months and I thought this was the perfect opportunity. I breathed like crazy. The moment my scars closed, I jumped into the cold water. And within 2 months, I was up on the mountain with Wim and being able to accomplish everything that he threw at us. One very amazing thing coming back from that course, I started falling sick because the body had been through a lot in 5 days of training. Fever was coming in. So what they told me to do was to fast for 24 hours and breathe like crazy. So I did the breathing on the plane and I fell asleep. I woke up 8 hours later. I'd never slept so long on a plane before. 8 hours later, I woke up. All the signs of fever were gone. So I pretty much had first-hand experience to suppress all those signs of falling ill. I knew a big bad fever was coming, high temperature, cold sweat and everything. But just like a good 2-3 hours of intense breathing, dozed off, waking up, I felt like I had a really good nap and nothing happened to me at all. So that was a pretty good start for my instructor journey, and it's been about 1.5 years now. And besides all these parts about suppressing inflammation, one of the best things that Wim Hof Method has on the human body is to elevate your mood. Mood is caused by chemical secretions in our brain. And it's been measured that when we do the breath work as well as cold exposure, we produce a little bit of dopamine and endocannabinoids. And these, and one more, no, sorry, it's opioids and endocannabinoids. So the opioids are mainly used for pain relief when they put it in medication, and the cannabinoids are found in other sources of natural occurring substances, but illegal if you're procuring them outside. Anyway, these things, when you come out, give you a sense of relaxation, give you a sense of pain relief. And we found that we're actually producing bits of these chemicals when we practice the method. If people are suffering from burnout, a few of the instructors I've met have also been suffering from burnout from work. They use the Wim Hof Method to counter all that and find that it works so well, they actually quit their jobs and became full-time instructors. So this brings us into a really deep rabbit hole of understanding ourselves and finding out what our whole journey is all about. So other than just getting well, it's a really good chance for us to do a lot of internal reflection. It's a great chance to step on the brake pedals and take time to reflect and be aware of what's going on inside our lives. What I'm talking about relative to how your body feels later when we're actually going through the breath work. In a bit more advanced situations, we have many case studies that are being shared with the instructors in our network. This is a little Google Drive folder that we share in our network, and it's not to say that the method cures these different diseases, but we are trying to pool together resources to find out, hey, a lot of people who are experiencing different things, this is what's happening. And after the Wim Hof Method, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, but most of the people report a general improved quality of life. Some get cured, some stay the same. So we don't want to say that it's a cure for anything, especially in this period regarding COVID-19. It's not a cure, but it can push down signs of inflammation if your body is experiencing the same signs of falling ill. So hopefully it can make a lot of people feel better. So I'm gonna quickly go through what the breathing method brings to us. For the benefits, there are a lot. When we breathe well and deep, we can increase our pain threshold. We can become less stressful. Inflammation can be brought down, and we can get a lot of energy, a lot of euphoria. And hormesis is the most important thing here. Hormesis is the act of making our bodies putting it through a very stressful situation for a very short amount of time. The opposite of hormesis is our day-to-day struggles in life, stress at work, with relationships, with money. These things are small nagging pains that just bug us and keep us on our toes non-stop. When we practice hormesis, we flip it around the axis and we put ourselves in a super stressful state, but then we stop. So it's stressful for just a short amount of time. This kind of training in any form gives the body the most benefits. So if you're lifting weights, something too heavy, you drop it, your muscle fibers tear. The next session, they recover, they grow, and you can lift a little bit heavier. So we're going to do this thing, but with our breath, with our lung capacity in relation to how much oxygen and carbon dioxide is being exchanged. We're going to do the same when we jump in the cold. We're going to shock the body, shock all the blood vessels. So, but it's just for a very short time, and the body learns very, very quickly how to improve and get a lot of benefits from this kind of practice. A very quick lesson in science of it all. Inside every one of our cells is a little power factory, and that's called the mitochondria. So this guy produces ATP for energy. And the ingredients, the core ingredients that it uses in this chemical process are glucose from the food we eat and oxygen from the air we breathe. When they combine these two, it produces ATP. And we use ATP for practically anything, moving around, waste transfer, even thinking that requires producing electrical signals and producing energy. So producing ATP is the job of the mitochondria, and oxygen plays a very important part. Just now during our breath hold, you had a very clear idea of how much oxygen there is within this system in just one breath hold. So if we can supercharge the amount of oxygen in our body, imagine how much more ATP can be produced and how much more recovery can go on. If you have a lot of, if you are fully oxygenated, to be honest, you don't even need that much sleep, just a few hours a night. And as long as your body is very capable of feeding what's needed and discharging whatever is wasted, then the high-level monks who practice a lot of breath work, they're honestly just sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. So you can understand this in the opposite sense, where sometimes you can sleep 10 to 12 hours and you wake up even more tired. So you can get a rough idea of what that is like. And what we're doing when we do the breathing is actually playing with our adrenal system. This is something of our autonomous nervous system that we cannot control. When we see something scary, automatically the adrenal glands above our kidneys start producing adrenaline, and that makes our heart pump faster, that releases glucose for us to get more energy. When we do the breath work, we're gonna manually influence this system that most people think there's no way we can control. We're gonna be lowering our heart rate with 5 minutes just from our mind. Just thinking of it, we can make ourselves calmer. So what is the breathing exercise like? I'll answer some of the questions in a while, yeah? So the breathing exercise is very simple. We are doing 30 to 40 breaths of full inhale, and then we let it go. And then after 40 breaths, we hold and we wait for the carbon dioxide to build up, oxygen to be depleted, and then we do a full inhale. So using my arm as a gauge. This is neutral. And right now I would say we're breathing 10% up and down. No effort, no sound. The 30 to 40 breaths will be from neutral to full, and then release back to neutral. That's one breath. We're going to do 30 times. In and release. All the way in and release. And at the end of the last one in, release. We're going to hold our breath just like we did, except during these 30 breaths, we would have expelled all that carbon dioxide, and it would take a lot longer time for us to reach the same level of discomfort. And this time, what's going to happen is your oxygen is going to be depleted so low, your whole body is going to wake up and think, oh, something's wrong. So much carbon dioxide, so little oxygen. When it wakes up, when you take that full inhale as a recovery breath, you're going to suck it all back in, hold it deep, and feel your body react and take in all that oxygen. You can literally feel it shoot up your spine into your brains. You can, if your eyes are closed, you will sometimes see fireworks going on because the cones and rods behind the eyes are firing from this influx of oxygen. A Nobel Prize was just recently awarded to 3 scientists that concluded in states of hypoxia, which is low oxygen levels, our red blood cells actually produce more hemoglobin so that they can hold on to more oxygen. Also, at a state of high carbon dioxide retention, our bodies are more willing to let go of the oxygen molecules so that our cells can utilize it. So this little exercise can be very, very beneficial in the long run to our general health and well-being, be it mental or physical. Take note of safety precautions, because if you are pregnant or epileptic, the low levels of oxygen might not be beneficial. Obviously, don't do it while driving or in the water due to shallow water blackout risk. So always do in a safe environment, either seated or lying down. So if anything goes wrong, you can still stay safe. And again, if you are unclear of anything, just ask a doctor. We are not medical doctors, so if you are really unsure of your own medical situation, please ask a doctor if you can, if it's safe for you to proceed with this. What you can expect when we do the breathing method is lightheadedness. Because of certain chemical changes in the body, we end up with some vasoconstriction, and that makes the pressures going up to our head a bit less. So you will get a bit dizzy. Again, that's why we do it sitting or lying down. You might experience tingling in the hands and feet. That comes in vibrations, pins and needles that might go around the lips and the neck. You might hear ringing in your ears or static sounds. You might feel different emotions. You might yawn, or your fingers might tighten up into muscle cramps, which is due to the carbon dioxide being pushed out, and then you have an excess of calcium ions. And these usually bind with our muscles to prevent too much activity from the brain signals. But from our constant exhalations, it will make our muscles cramp up really easily. Whatever happens, I usually tell participants, just go for a ride. Everything will subside after a while. But when you're experiencing all this, just take a step back as an audience, just view yourself from the side and say, oh my, I'm experiencing all these cool sensations. So don't worry, anything that happens has happened to many people before, and everything will just go away after a while. All right, if you're ready, let's breathe. I'm gonna go through the whole breathing exercise. We'll do one simple round and then we're gonna hold our breath again, and let's see how long we manage to hold it for. All right, so get comfortable, sit down. You can close your eyes if you want to. And let's start with our first breath, fully in and relax. Fully in and relax. All the way in and let it go. Keep going. Deep inhale, relax. Deep in, relax. Fully in, let it go. Deep inhale, let it go. Breath number 10. Let it go. Keep going in and out. In and out. Deep in. Relax. Deep in. Relax. Fully in. Let it go. You're halfway there. Fully in. Let it go. Fully in. Let it out. Slightly faster in. Let it go. Deep breath in. Let it go. Deep in. Let it go. Last 10. Deep in and out. 9 more in and out. Even deeper in and out. Feel it all the way in and out. 6 more. Make it count. In and out. Last 5 in and out. Last 4 in and out. Last 3 in and out. Last 2 in and out. Last 1 in. Fill everything up. Let it go and hold your breath. Exhale, breath hold with the stopwatch going. You can close your eyes and just calm down. Get nice and relaxed. Try to do a body scan. Find any way from your skull all the way down your spine, your fingers and your toes, and relax as much as I can. Feel the difference as you're holding your breath now. You have a lot of oxygen in your body. All that carbon dioxide is pushed out, so you are way ahead of feeling any discomfort. If at any time you need to breathe, just take a nice deep breath and hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. Meanwhile, and when you do recover, just take a note of how many seconds you've held your breath. At the same time, you can relax your mind just by telling yourself, calm down, everything is okay. Even if you feel discomfort, you can just shrug it off. It's just carbon dioxide, no problem. But when you do breathe, you just take a deep breath and hold and keep your eyes closed for 10 to 15 seconds. Just type in the number of seconds when you're done. And if you can hold longer, go for it. Nice. How the recovery breath is like after the exhale. You can feel the constriction, the discomfort coming. You just take a deep inhale. Hold. Close your eyes and feel everything rush back up to your brain. 10 to 15 seconds. Let it out. Those are some amazing timings. I'm going to give it about 15, 20 more seconds. Wow, 2 minutes. The amazing thing when you do this, if you go for round number 2, round number 3 right away, you're going to go deeper and deeper. So again, remember the sensations you're feeling will all subside, but go for that ride, enjoy that buzz. Yeah, type it in. Type in your reactions, what you felt. Very nice. Looks like we're a few minutes past it. I hope you guys felt something interesting from there. Amazing breath holds, guys. So what we went through was we pushed out a lot of carbon dioxide. Our heart rates accelerated, and then during the breath hold, everything slowed down. If you measured your skin temperature, it might have dropped a degree or 2. If you measured your heart rate, it would definitely have calmed down quite a bit until that carbon dioxide reaches a plateau and it starts making you nervous again. And then it'll shoot up and tell you, hey, you need to breathe. When you do that round number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 and 6, your threshold for discomfort just keeps going deeper and deeper, and you'll find your heart rate getting lower, your breath hold timings getting longer and longer. As you start, 3 rounds of 30 breaths is the standard protocol for first timers. You can do it as much as you feel like doing. For me, morning and night is the most beneficial. Wakes me up to start the day. If I do it at night, I know my heart's in a very oxygenated state. It's ready to pump with a lot more efficiency. So as I sleep through the night, I know a lot more good stuff is going on. And then when the first thing you wake up in the morning, you can do your breath hold test and then check where your benchmark is. On average, 40 seconds for a breath hold without doing Wim Hof Method is what they claim to be a healthy individual. Anything less, you can improve on some stuff. Anything more, you're doing something great. But don't take the numbers too much into your mind. So just take it as a gauge of where you are, because there's so many variables we have to look at. Alrighty. What we did just now was also a step into our mindset. If you found yourself facing a bit of calmness, that's exactly what the whole practice is about. Training the mind to be strong and getting through obstacles and making yourself happier and less worried and less stressed is the whole purpose of doing all these physical activities. It's very difficult for us to sit there for 45 minutes or go through a 7-day meditation retreat in order to get deep into our heads. So this is kind of like a shortcut, a little hack into getting deep into our minds, just from a simple breath hold or jumping into icy waters. And when your mind is strong and used to taking all this and finding a very shortcut, quick method to get into really calm states, you're gonna do a lot more amazing things with it. And a very quick jump into the cold exposure. When we jump into the cold, your entire vascular system is being constricted and released. So what we did with our breath, the even more amounts of oxygen efficiency that we're translating between each heartbeat, the blood vessels in our body that's responsible for transferring these oxygen and taking out the carbon dioxide, this is what we're training when we jump into the cold. We're shrinking everything and expanding it at the same time, just from one ice water dip, so that when we come out, this whole system is being exercised and it can deliver the good and bad things more efficiently. And it gives us, again, hormesis. Anything that doesn't kill us is bound to make us stronger. And whatever strengths you have today is an entire lifetime's worth of trials and tribulations that build you up to give you the strength that you have to get through more challenges in the years ahead. So jumping into the cold is gonna feel amazing when you come out. Unfortunately, when you're inside, it still sucks. It's still really, really cold. But you have to suffer to get stronger. A quick video, you can find Wim Hof Method videos on their YouTube page. There are a lot of really, really good things on the Facebook page and on the website. A lot of them is free information. Do have a look. Brain Over Body is a very interesting study of how the breath and the cold has an effect during the medical studies on Wim Hof, where they did PET scans and MRI scans on what's going on deep inside. What was the question? Do you really have cold shower with the temperature in Singapore? No, so I have 2 chest freezers that are filled with ice in the balcony, and that's where I train people. They can train the breath work at home, but when they want to have the cold exposure, quite a few of our participants in Singapore, we have a group chat of about 80 people so far, and about 5 or 6 of them have bought a chest freezer, silicone the edges, fill it with water, switch it on, and jump in. That's the only way exposure to 2 to 3 degrees Celsius water for the cold exposure training. If the lockdown lifts, you guys feel free to come and visit me and get an experience of what that feels like. Or if you manage to travel, again, jump in a random river, but make sure your friends are with you and they know what you're doing. In any case, yeah, I think the Nordic people have this built into their whole lifestyle. Growing up, they like to jump into the cold and then go out to a sauna. So the health benefits are already widely known in other places that experience cold naturally. So to end it, all I can say is life begins at the end of your comfort zone. The moment you get comfortable and stop utilizing all these special powers that your body has, your body's just going to think, hey, you're not going to use it, you're going to lose it, I'm going to let it go. That's like atrophy of the muscles and everything else. So I implore you to start finding discomfort and embrace it and keep finding new things to get uncomfortable in. And that's the way we can grow, become more resilient, and be ready for many more challenges that throws itself down this path in life. And if you guys need to contact me, my WhatsApp and email is here, and you can visit Wim Hof Method for more information. A little bit of a Q&A, I think, a few minutes for that. Yeah. If you guys have any questions. So must it be 10 degrees? No, I actually started my cold dips about 15 degrees just before ice started forming. So I didn't wait until it got to 2 or 3 degrees. But during my instructor training, they threw us in below a waterfall, And with the flowing water, they expected it to be about -7 with the flow of the water. So it's all up to you. You can even start at 20 degrees, and but to be honest, below 16 degrees Celsius is where you will start receiving benefits. But always go slowly. Listen to your body. Don't have to think that, oh, everyone's doing it in this way and I have to push myself as much as well. Listening to the body is one of the most important things in this journey. Yeah.
We had a question earlier. Asked twice, so I think he really wants to know if he can burn low smoke incense and do the breathing exercise at the same time.
I don't have particular response to this from HQ side. So again, listen to your body. We have some people who want to have essential oils through a diffuser. Some people believe in that. Some people just want complete clarity with no interruptions. Some people have smoke, have incense, have diffusers, have a lot of music, hang drums, live music, strobe lights. People try all sorts of funny things. So you might experience different sensations in whatever situations you put yourself in. Give it a shot, try. Sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. But again, listen to your body. If you start to feel discomfort in any way, just stop, take a step back.
Cool. All right. I guess we party right now.
Right.
Chun has a booth in the expo, and he also has a promo code that you can sign. He's also giving online classes, right?
Yeah, I will also answer some of the questions that weren't answered in audio. I'll just type it out as we go along. And
Okay.
I have 2 morning breathwork sessions this weekend as well. 9 a.m. From my hyperactive website. I think I'll just share it here as well on the chat later. And I think there's a discount code for you guys too.
Cool.
Yeah, so anything else for me so far, Jen?
Nope, that's all. Everyone is free to go or stay. There's an after party. Shane has posted the session. So yep, free and easy now. The event is available for 46 more minutes before it closes. So
See you guys around.
all right, I'm gonna check out the after party.
Alrighty. See ya. Let me see if I missed out any other questions. I use a Kadika brand freezer. What if you fill the bathtub with ice, Terrence? Okay, so that's fine as well. I did that in Hong Kong when I visited a friend and he wanted a training session. So I filled up his bathtub with 10 bags of ice. Completely fine, but kind of a waste of ice if you're only in there for 5 minutes. Thank you, guys. Share a YouTube URL for the beginners. All right. I will answer other questions in the exhibition booth. I'll just copy and paste the questions and put the answers there so that we don't miss out on anything. Thank you. Thanks for joining.